Put your shoulder to the wheel to supersize your business. Actually, this is an Alexa that I don't have set up, but you get the idea. It's round, looks like a wheel. I didn't have a wheel handy, so I used that to remind us that this is an idiom that's been around since 550 BC. It comes from Aesop's fables, and it means, of course, to respond to a problem or a situation or a challenge by applying yourself and making your best efforts to actually try to solve the problem on your own. This is a tale from Aesop's fables, a tale about Hercules, and somebody gets their wagon stuck in the mud, and they want Hercules, of course, to just help them push it out and get out of the mud. Well, Hercules berates the person for not even trying to get out of the situation themselves. And so that becomes the topic of this particular fable, which means put your shoulder to the wheel, meaning get down by the wheel and push. I mean, I remember pushing cars that were stuck in the snow and in the mud a lot of times in my lifetime, not so much anymore. Leave it to the younger people, usually my kids, and probably in a decade or so, my grandchildren. But right now, it means, and what does this mean to our business? You know, what does it mean to put our shoulder to the wheel? We're talking about goal-related idioms, probably a lot this year, which ties into this year's annual challenge, Get Your Goals annual challenge, as well as growing and building and supersizing our business, right? I don't know very many people that have supersized their business or grown their business in a significant way that haven't had at least a vision in mind and then had checkpoints along the way, which are goals of how they were going to get there. And did how they were going to get there work out every time? No, that's why we have problems and challenges and situations that come up every day as we're building and growing our business that we need to deal with. Learned a long time ago that we can bitch and whine and complain and moan about the problem and about other things that are outside of our control, or we can focus on what we can do. We can focus on the possibilities and the solutions to whatever comes our way versus commiserating about the problem. Yep, this is what happened. Tell yourself the story in a factual, unemotional way, if at all possible, and get down, this is a situation, and then get from identifying what the situation, the problem, the setback, the challenge is, to brainstorming solutions to that problem as quickly as possible. The faster we make that switch and flip that from problem focused to solution focused, the faster we see the possibilities, implement the possibilities, and are on our way to our next problem or situation or challenge that is bound to come up as we're building and growing and supersizing our business. Why? Because that's life, and that's growing a business, and that is just how things work. Because a lot of times, I think the universe is just throwing things at us to test us, to see if we're really serious or not, to see if we're really committed to creating what we want to see in the world, creating the business that we want to see in the world. So problem solving, I say be the example. This one reminds me to be the example of focusing on the solutions, not on the problem, as well as being willing to ask for help. Now, there's a balancing act. Some of us have a really hard time asking for help. Others ask without ever doing anything themselves. Nothing is more frustrating than having somebody ask you a question. Okay, here's an example. Social media example. Somebody says, what do you do for a living? Well, I've got over 6,000 live videos online. So at least watch one or two of them so you get a clue before you ask me an open-ended question like, hi, how you doing today? What do you do for a living? Super lazy way of approaching getting to know people or networking, etc., at least in my opinion. So do a little research, do a little homework. Almost everybody can Google. Even I, legally blind, can ask my phone and ask Google via voice technology nowadays a question. And that's the minimum before you expect someone else to solve your problems for you. Most of us, and probably preaching to the choir, because this is not a group of people that expect other people to solve their problems for them. But I guarantee you're working with some people, or you're related to some people that do think that the world owes them a living and that they should be entitled to everything they want without having to work for it. Those people really frustrate me. Don't know about you. Anyway, that is our idiom for today. Put your shoulder to the wheel. Curious if you've ever heard or used this idiom. I can guarantee I've said put your back into it, put some muscle into it, etc. But I don't know that I've ever said put your shoulder to the wheel when describing anything, with the exception, of course, of this idiom share. Have an awesome day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you think about or apply it to building and growing and supersizing your business? Any questions? Ask. You're welcome to ask me questions, especially about idioms and things or business online and off. But again, don't ask me something that if you would have Googled it, you would have gotten probably a better answer than I can give you. Nowadays with AI and Chat GPT, ask the programmed artificial intelligence and see what you get. Chances are you might get a better answer than from me if you haven't done any looking into it yourself. All right. Have an awesome day. I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.